Greetings YouTube and good people of the internet. Welcome back to the lab. Today I bring to you a project on a deal I recently grabbed on Offerup. Now let me give you a little bit of insight on this deal before we get started. Now the seller was unsure, first of all, if the computer would even turn on or if the computer would boot. So that was the first obstacle or hurdle I had to consider. And the second being that she didn't even know what was inside of the chassis or what was inside of the rig. So it was a completely in the blind $40 gamble that I figured, hey, why not? This could be a great opportunity to show you guys how to not only disassemble a computer, but also disassemble a computer to clean one. So on the topic of clean, there was only one picture available of the item, and wow, did it tell a story on itself. I mean, this thing was just not clean. I mean, this thing needed some work. It was not clean. I had to use gloves. I took a shower afterwards. Yeah, it just was not very pretty. It was a $40 gamble, and I figured, why not? It's well worth the risk, especially if it does work and we can extract some sweet ultra low, ultra entry level price to performance value in these legacy parts. So without further ado, let's get her cleaned up, get her cleaned out, put her through the ringer, and see if she turns on. All right, we just finished up with phase 2, I believe it is. We're moving on to phase 3. These are all the parts I was able to salvage. You have a 1 terabyte Seagate hard drive, 250 gigabyte hard drive, network card, AM3 motherboard, and what looks like a Phenom 2. I'm not really sure which one. We're going to find out here in a second once we move on to the next phase. An unknown GeForce GTX graphics card, what looks like a single blower shroud, and at the last minute I was able to pull out this LG ODD drive, or ocular disk drive, that really has me peaked because it has a Blu-ray, it can read Blu-ray discs, so hoping that works too. I know not a lot of people use the ODD, but still nice to have for your legacy builds. And we're going to go ahead and move on to the next phase and make sure everything still works. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Now, while I am glad and relieved and shocked and just overall just thrilled that the system was able to boot and I was able to install Windows and install some games, it's difficult for me to recommend this system, at least in its current state. 4 cores on the AMD Phenom 2 X4 were just pegged nearly at 100%, nearly 100% of the time. And typically that's not what you want to see in gaming. It's a CPU bottleneck, especially at 1920 by 1080p. And this is with the 1050 Ti, so I could have threw in a 280X to maybe see if we got a better performance, but goes to say that on the subject of performance, I mean, every game ran smoothly, all but the exception of Dota 2 that couldn't quite hit the 60 FPS mark and during the benchmark sessions, but every other title that we tested just ran smooth, ran perfectly. Target wise, we wanted to try and strive for that 60 FPS mark, at least on this platform or on this system. But again, this wasn't so much a benchmark guide or a hardware review as much as this was a does it work guide and will it turn on review. This goes to show that there's still great value in legacy platforms such as AM3 and older that would just give it a little bit of work, and if you can hustle a little bit and find these deals in your area, and prices will vary because we're all in different places of the internet. With a little bit of work, one could get into PC gaming at an ultra entry level price point or price tag. You can download any of these games today. They're all free to play, and you also have room to even run some monitoring games. On the subject of monitoring games, I just want to point out that there is a downside to running older platforms such as this. I was unable to get the system to run Apex Legends, and that's because the AMD, the Phenom 2 lineup of CPUs, they don't have the SSE3 instruction set. That is an Intel thing, by the way, and it's typically found on anything second, third generation on up. But SSE3 stands for the Supplemental Streaming Sim Extension. It's just simply not there. That's just something to consider. That being said, this system still has slight headroom for upgradability, and maybe we'll save that for another video. So if you're interested, comment below and let me know. You can throw in a X6, which is a 6-core, 6-thread Phenom processor, and hopefully that would alleviate the bottleneck, put more load on the GPU, and then even push out more frames and possibly even get over the 60 FPS target mark that we want for games like Dota 2 that's fast paced and requires you to move a lot of parts on the screen and what have you. We can also throw in an SSD, which would boost and improve system response time, system load time, and overall performance. Now, again, those upgrades will come at a cost, so they would add to the build, but you would get some pretty sweet value, maybe with $150 total part investment, say in this particular configuration. Other than that, lab rats, that'll be all for this one. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed cleaning this $40 PC. If you're new to the channel, please feel free to subscribe at any time. Rock the notification bell, in the words of LL, to be alerted to any new content and videos that we roll out of the channel. They are rolling, they are just rolling a little slow or not as fast as we would like. As always, thanks for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope to see you in the next one.